Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Post-Conference Presser for Anfield Index. It is Thursday, the 14th of August. It's just over 24 hours until the Reds kick off against Bournemouth. You can taste it, literally, can't you? And of course, this morning, 9 a.m., and I'd say sharp, but he's a bit tardy this morning. Not that anyone cares, Arne Slot, as he was up at the AXA, wasn't he, answering questions from journalists. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about many more things. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a muggy, hot, should be nice, but it's not, Edinburgh. The sun is beaming in, but everyone's just literally sweating all the time. But we can't complain too much about the sun. But you know how we do it on Post-Conference Presser. We will talk you through the questions and answers that Arne Slot gave, of course. And there were some interesting ones. We'll look back to the Community Shield, the defeat on penalties, and despite it being a friendly, what lessons we take from that. We'll look to Bournemouth, who are a fascinating side with the amount of, let's call it, restructuring that's gone on at that club and what threats they will bring on Friday night. And then, as ever, we will finish with the scorers, lineup predictions for Friday night. Still love saying that, although do I like Friday night football? You will decide if you do. In terms of lineup, and it links to what Arne Slot was asked, we got a few more clues. There was no new injuries announced or things to worry about. That's important to say. He did mention that with Joe Gomez, he has trained twice, which is a positive. I'm sure we all saw the footage, didn't we, of him being back and doing that exercise where they were in a curve, catch the giant ball. All brilliant. Maybe on the bench, but it's too early to be decided. Connor Bradley, all we know is he's not available Friday. Nothing more than that. I think it has been decided realistically. I do think Joe Gomez will be on the bench. We're short of cover right now at right back. We are short at centre back, and I know things are being done in the market, which he was asked about, and he answered. We'll talk about that. But you might just need Joe Gomez. You never know. Hopefully not at all, but you might. So you want that break glass in case of emergency option. And if he is fit and he's able to play some minutes, got to be on the bench for me. Bradley's the disappointment, though, isn't it? It's happened the other season with Connor Bradley, where injuries all the time, not being able to start, and it just intrigues me the fact that there wasn't, in essence, an update. We just know he's not available. Maybe, and it's important to say, there will be an embargo later on. Maybe it's answered then, but it might also be questions about other things. And I bet you know where I'm going to go with this one. He was asked about transfers. He was asked about centre-halves. He was asked about certain players. Let's have a listen.
Arne, I asked you about centre-halves last week, and it seems that you might be able to bring two in. First of all, Giovanni Leoni, what can you tell us?
That the club have agreed a deal, but he hasn't signed for us yet. So the moment when he signs for us, I can go into more detail. And the other one is, of course, the answer you always get from me.
Are you able to talk about that a little bit more broadly, though, and say what expectation you have of possibly getting hold of Mark Guehi?
No. No, because he's not our player. And unfortunately, he was the captain of the team where we lost against last Sunday. So, no, if you want to have any talks about him, you should go to Palace.
There you go. And as we sit here now, listening here now, Giovanni Leoni has landed in England. He is having his medical. You never know with these types of pods that we do. Sometimes it's announced as we do it, isn't it, type of thing. So that will be interesting to see. But full expectation, that gets confirmed tomorrow, at which point, as Arne Slot says, he can talk about the player more. Naturally, though, he's got other bits of focus coming up. And I saw a few people saying, well, why could he go straight into the squad? No, that would make no sense at all in the world. There's no need to take that risk or push that for now. But for everything we're reading, and we'll be talking about Giovanni Leoni more on Anfield Index with Italian sources, let's just leave it at that for now. There's a lot to be excited about. On the Mark Guehi front, though, again, looking at the latest report, as I'm just having a scan now, it does seem that Liverpool and Palace are still talking. They do still, according to reports like Lewis Steele's mentioned, Mark Guehi wants to move, but they are a bit apart, Palace and Liverpool, in terms of the deal. Liverpool, understandably, with a year left to go, have got that number they are not going to budge for. Palace, understandably, Steve Parrish said they want to achieve a certain fee. They don't want to lose him on a free. Mark Guehi, understandably, he's hedging his bets a little bit, isn't he? He's saying, well, I could always stay for a year, go to Liverpool on a free. Yeah, there's nothing certain with this one. However, I would like us to really get this done. Leoni for a future, brilliant. All the talent in the world, of course, he has massive potential and upside. But for now, you want Mark Guehi in the squad. There's a few Ibu rumours kicking around, but I don't think Ibu's going anywhere this summer. We'll have to see, though. You remember Forest last year? Do you remember how obsessional Arne Slot was about perfection and talking about things? And it's just the little details that mean so much to him. Just listen to this snippet of the presser.
And if you then look the quality we bring on the ball, I'm very happy with that. Without the ball, it's 8 out of 10 times. Also very good. But the aim at this club is not 8 out of 10 times, it's 10 out of 10 times. And that is the fine-tuning we still need to find defensively.
You can tell that's been his focus this week, hasn't he? And we'll talk about the Palace game, the Community Shield, of course, but that balance, that there was some really nice stuff, of course, going forward, but the transition on the break, and it's the way you use it, like cats, in it, 8 out of 10 times. It's not perfect. He wants it 10 out of 10 times. He will have been drilling and drilling and drilling those players continuously on it, really focusing on it. And it will be something that we'll all be focused on for this one. There was a couple of other Q&As to mention. So he was talked about when Liverpool are favourites and said, opposite. And he's right, opposition rivals have strengthened quite a lot. Also, as he mentioned, which I really liked, and it is prudent, we have made a lot of changes this summer. Whereas last summer, we didn't make any, and that actually worked in the end so well for us. It was intriguing that Sam Maguire wrote an article on his Patron the other day saying he doesn't think Liverpool are favourites for this season. I saw a few sort of, not pounced on it, but go like, come on, and I got it. We spent mega money, where all these players were coming in, Isak on top of it. We've got to be favourites. But he actually talked about the transitions, the amount of changes. And for people talking about maybe if Guehi comes in, Ibu coming out, imagine if someone said to you, there's a title-winning back line and they're taking out the right back, one of the centre-backs and the left back, 3 out of 5. You'd think they're going to struggle to reintegrate or be the same level. So any talks about Ibu going anywhere, I think that I'd forget that completely. Arne Slot is going to want to keep him as, Richard Hughes is, even if it does eventually end up being he departs on a free. But it was interesting that he did say as well, we might, and it's this phrase, we might just need a bit of time. As in, it's no excuse for bad results. He said that at the same time, but some players might need time to integrate. It will be interesting to see. As ever, he said more. You can read more on the website, but we'll move to our next bit, the Community Shield, the lessons. Some of it's there, thinking about the 8 out of 10. Did look a bit soft, shall we say, in transition. There was times where Palace just in. Yes, Palace are just in straight away. So the shape, the balance, maybe is the way of putting it, wasn't quite there on Sunday. And in fact, you looked at the left side, didn't you, that Gakpo was almost, defending, didn't seem to know where to be. Maybe surprised you that Kirkes tucked in. It seemed to be an instruction, but that left side wasn't fully functioning, was it? Other things as well to mention in terms of lessons for me, the amount of people taking a shot at them. Do people just not learn? Van Dijk Mo Salah. Van Dijk, the only real contender to any type of player of the year for Salah last year. Did they have a good game on Sunday? No. Virgil made a few mistakes, didn't like the penalty. You look back and think, why is he winning it? He knew all that himself. And he talked after the game. You could tell he wasn't happy and he's got to focus. Don't mind that at all. Mo Salah didn't want to talk in the mix zone, said it's too early. Didn't have many touches, did he, at all in the first half? There's that one where Kirkes crosses it to him in the second half and you're thinking, this is going to bang either side of Henderson for 3-2. And he put it straight at him. And people are taking shots at these two. You take a shot at the king, you best not miss. And I'm telling, honestly, the lesson for me is there's no way Van Dijk and Salah will play that badly. Just wait and see on Friday night for them two. Honestly. Be ready, Bournemouth. And the final thing, on a positive note as well, there were some good bits. Ekitike and Wirtz, that link-up, that looked tasty, didn't they? They had a not quite telepathic understanding, but even for the first goal, that pass from Wirtz, just telling Ekitike where he needs to go and puts it into the corner beautifully. Ekitike running, pressing, the flicks round the corner. Wirtz just orchestrating it all. And that's a little bit of the interesting lesson for me. He's on the screen, but it was a tough day for them, I suppose. But the double pivot, we're used to Grav and Maka, aren't we? I'm not sure Jones and Szoboszlai were great. It's not trying to blame either of them, but it's something to consider. So, and everything else, it's clues. We shouldn't be reading every single thing into it because it is pre-season, but there's things we're just wondering about. What I really like is, because things didn't go so well, Arne Slot's been on it. You can tell Virgil van Dijk's thinking about it. Mo Salah will do his talking on the pitch. Might not be the worst preparation at all. But it's against an interesting opposition. A Bournemouth team who did so well under Iraola last season. It was amazing what they achieved. The downside for a club like Bournemouth is you are rich pickings for bigger boys. And they found that this summer. Huijsen gone. That release clause was always going to get activated. We tried it, but he picked Real Madrid. As soon as they were in, no chance. We took Kirkes. That's our left-back cover. Big money, 40 million quid. So that went into their coffers. They've just lost Zabiani, haven't they, as well? So that's 3 out of their back 4 gone as well. Even the goalkeeper situation, it was Azpilicueta. What am I saying? The Chelsea boy, I can't think of his name now at all. I can even picture him. Kepa, God's sake. Yes. So, 4 out their back 5 gone. So that suits us. You can't pretend that. Iraola's got a newer squad with players he's got to integrate. But there is some threats for all the changes in defence. Don't get this twisted. Evan Nielsen, he was their big signing for Porto, and he took a little bit of time to get up to speed, but he started to find the net, especially at the end of last season. He will be a threat. Justin Kluivert, he'll be a fascinating one to watch. I think we all expected Justin Kluivert to move on, and he might well do, but he had a great season, didn't he? Can he keep that going? He fell off when he missed that sitter against us, if you remember, where he should just put it into an empty net. The game at Bournemouth where we won 2-0. But he will be a threat for this one. And Semenyo, think about Antoine Semenyo, linked with us at some point, linked with United. All clubs had a look at him, but he signed a new deal to stay at Bournemouth. Rapid pace, physical attributes are insane. If anyone thinks Bournemouth haven't got threats or could score goals, crazy. And their manager's brilliant. So keep that in mind. However, this is Liverpool under the lights. This is Anfield, the first game of the season, the home of the champions. I think you know where this is going. But lineups, I'm not sure it'll be that different from the Community Shield. It's going to be Alisson in nets, VVD and Konate, Kirkes and Jeremy Frimpong, because what other real options are there in the back line? And yeah, Andy Robertson came on for a few minutes. There's no need to integrate Kerkez either. You spend that money straight into the lineup. Midfield's the interesting one. As we know, Ryan Gravenberch is suspended. He cannot play in this one. Obviously, his partner had a child the other day, so congratulations to them. He will, when Newcastle comes around, be ready and firing. However, I think it's this, but I don't say it with confidence. Dominic Szoboszlai, I think, will be one of the 8s. And I didn't want to share it because Arne Slot was asked about him as an 8 in the press conference, or his best position, sorry. So just have a read of that. We've talked before about exceptional on the ball, but learning a new role. How does he mark space? His duel rate isn't the best. That's not mean he's a bad player. I'd always have Szoboszlai in the team, but there's still things he's learning for Liverpool there. So it's Szoboszlai, and it's going to be Jones or Maka. I think a lot of thinking it's Jones because he started the Community Shield. I think it'll be Alexis McAllister. I think they're specifically working towards him being in for this one. And you want Alexis McAllister on the pitch. He's our best midfielder, for God's sake. He's used to playing in the double pivot. That's what I'd do. Szoboszlai and McAllister. Would it surprise me if Curtis Jones was there? Absolutely not. The forward line, I actually don't think it's been easier than ever. It's going to be Gakpo left, Ekitike in the middle, Salah on the right. Some obviously are stars. And before everyone goes at me, because I realised I missed it, of course, sorry. Florian Wirtz in the 10, of course. He's going to run the show. He's going to go through everything. Almost just assume that, so I didn't cover it. But if you look at the other forwards, Chiesa wants off. Everyone's expecting a late deal to Serie A. I even seen it in a few stories before I came on this. Ben Doak expected to depart as well. Rio Ungamoa didn't get a single minute in the Community Shield, did he? He's the uncertain one a little bit, isn't he? How many minutes will he get this season? There's a lot of people disagreeing with me in Discord, think I've off my wedding cake when I say this, but I actually think he might go close to 1,000 minutes. For the record, of course, I still want to see Isak and another forward come in, but I'm just not seeing it at the moment. So, close to 1,000 minutes. We'll have to see, won't we, on that? But when you consider all those, it leaves you with 1, 2, 3 senior options. That's my pick. Alisson, Frimpong, Kerkez, VVD, Kanate in the middle. Szoboszlai, Maka as the pivot versus the 10. Ekitike, Salah, Gakpo on the front lineup. Which brings us to the final question of score and scorers. I think by Friday evening, about 10 o'clock, this will have Liverpool at the top of the table, having played one, won one. Goals for? 3. Goals against? 1. Don't think we're looking at, I'd love to be surprised, but it doesn't look like last season where we were managing games so well. Maybe that was necessity. Maybe it worked out well there, possibly. But we do look a bit porous, don't we, as a unit this way. So, 3-1 victory at Anfield. For me, I think people are going to be made to look foolish. And Mo Salah will be on the score sheet. We'll say, eh? But there you go. 1,000,001 things going on ahead of this game. As I said, I'm hoping there should be an embargo section. If you're just joining us and you missed the news, Arne Slot did talk about centre-backs. He did say, obviously, the deal's agreed with Palmer. As we know, for Leoni, he's having his medical. So when that's completed, he can talk more. Wouldn't give a single thing away on Mark Guehi. We'll see if we get anything later tonight on it. Mate, you do wonder with the Palace and the Premier League kicking off how much things like Guehi and Isak go silent. We will have to see. Joe Gomez is back in as well, people, as a squad potential option. He may not name him on the bench, but he may do. He's trained twice with the team. Conor Bradley, not a clue. Your guess is as good as mine right now. But it's exciting. Friday night, Anfield, under the lights. I will be there. You'll be watching, or you'll be there as well. But before then, that was another post-conference presser for Anfield Index.